I specify the offset. Oh, I forgot to specify the destination. Where are we storing all that stuff? Okay, so we go back to here, and where do we store all this stuff? Well, where else? The stuff that this will be the pointer that we have just allocated storage to from at the beginning of this call. Everything else is just to set up for the seek and read operation. Okay, so we save this and make again warning with no return value on line 72. Let's go back on line 72 and fix that. This one here, we forgot to fill this one in. How did that happen? Return the block size. I thought I did this. That is odd. Oh, I put it in the wrong place. Okay, this needs to go there. There we go. And we have one more piece to finish here. Okay, here we have to return the first block number of the inode table of group bgnum based on the block group descriptor table already read into the block group descriptor table member. Oh, okay. This is something that we have just done, which is actually just this part here. Okay, copy and paste. I'll explain it now. I think the parentheses is matched up. Okay, that's good. Alright. Okay, this function returns the first block number of the inode table of group bgnum based on the block group descriptor table already read. Okay, so this is basically what we just did earlier. This is the entire block group descriptor table, and each entry has 32 bytes, and in this case, of course, we're not dealing with group num, we're dealing with bg block group num here. So essentially we are specifying the displacement to the block group descriptor of the block group bgnum that we're dealing with, and then adding 8 will offset it to the inode table, the block number of the inode table of that block group. And so that's that. So that means that we should utilize this function later on. And I missed one thing that is actually important here, because this is using a block number instead of the actual offset number. So this is actually wrong. This was wrong to begin with anyway, not entirely right. And so what we need to do is to call the function inode table of block group and this time we have group num, and we have to remember to multiply this by the size of one block, which is block size fs info, and then we pass the parameter p info to it. Okay, so that's it. Because this alone, this part here alone, does not really specify the byte offset to the inode table. It specifies the block number to the inode table. In order to translate that into the actual byte offset, we have to multiply that by the block size, and the rest will still be right because we still have to add the displacement from that block number or the byte offset of that block to the actual offset of the inode. Now this may or may not be in the same block as the first block of the inode table, but it really does not matter because all the inodes are in blocks that are contiguous to each other, so we can do the calculation this way without any problems. Okay, well, let's go ahead and save this. Go back, and looks like it's working. So the first thing we want to do is to run it against test1.bin. So this is the moment of truth. Does it work? Okay, we have to specify an inode. We can specify 2 as the root directory, and it looks like it's working because it's telling me that it is a directory and the permission is 755, which is very typical of a root directory setup. I can also try this. I'm not sure that it will work or not because I may not have the necessary access to my own device here, but I can give it a try. Gosh, I cannot remember the device name of, let's see, BG1 var. Yeah, permission denied, doesn't let me do it. I have some other stuff that I can use it for to test against. I can go back to my home folder, CISP453, raw reader, and this one has multiple setup already. This is from the assignment, the first assignment that we have with extension 2, and it's not working when the block size is 1K. Okay, so this was, that one is not working. That one is working. Okay. So that means my program is not working yet because it should work with all of the test cases that I had before. Okay, this test case, okay, let's check out what test case it is. Okay, this is a relatively large file system, and I'm suspecting it's not reading the block size correctly because the block size really should not be 1K, it should be 4 kilobytes. Okay, that gives me an idea of what's wrong with this code. It has to do with the block size calculation. So it has to do with this part here. Block size info. Okay. Alright, let's see. That's block count, and block size is where?